Hello everyone, today my presentation is about the data of behavioral risk factor tobacco use in Louisiana from 2011 to 2018. And this presentation is for residents of Louisiana. I will briefly talk about some key findings about this data to help audience to do the best uh, tobacco use prevention. Tobacco use is the leading cause of preventable deaths in the United States, and cigarette smoking, the predominant form of tobacco use in the United States, causes 443,000 deaths annually, including 41,000 deaths from secondhand smoke. For every American who dies because of smoking, at least 30 are living with a serious smoking-related illness. Tobacco use is also associated with a variety of negative health outcomes, such as heart diseases, lung cancer, and the person who uses cigarettes in combination with tobacco use might have an increased risk for adverse health effects. To estimate the prevalence of any tobacco use, CDC analyzed the data from the 2011 to 2018 behavioral risk factor surveillance system module on the tobacco use, which was implemented by 13 states in United States. The behavioral risk factor surveillance system is an annual state-wide random telephone and cellular surveillance survey designed by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. From this data, we could learn much about the data stratified estimated by gender, age, race, education, smoking status, and this data set also contains data on different indicators, including smoking status, attempts at quitting, and the answer people give to service, which was something like know for whether there are current smoke. It suggests that since no form of tobacco is safe to use, prevention and cessation intervention programs need to address all forms of tobacco use to lower tobacco-related deaths and in the USA. So from this data, we could learn much about the tobacco use in Louisiana and to do much prevention. There are some key findings. The first chart is about the trend of current tobacco use in US from 2011 to 2018. This chart could shows that the tobacco use in the United States declined from the 2011 to 2018. And in the Louisiana, we could say that the trend shows a fluctuating decline from 2011 to 2018. And with the 7 years, the tobacco use declined, and in the 2018, the tobacco use was fused. The next is about the different race groups risk contrast between United States and Louisiana. We could see a significant difference between the race groups rates. And in United States, we could say that American Indian and Alaska Native are the largest tobacco users, whereas in Louisiana, Hispanic is the largest tobacco use. And both United States and Louisiana, Asian and Pacific Island are the fewest tobacco users. The Next is about the tobacco use across United States in 2018. From this chart, we could see a whole picture of the tobacco uses across the US. We could see that West Virginia, Kentucky are the two states with the highest tobacco use rate. And the tobacco use in Louisiana is not high compared to other US states. The percentages of tobacco use in Louisiana is almost about 30%, and tobacco use is less in the west than in the east. Tobacco use is highest in the eastern region. Other than the race, the trend of the tobacco use, we also should see the tobacco use among the age groups. This chart is about the tobacco use in Louisiana by age group from 2011 to 2018. From this chart shows that tobacco user among 24 to 44 years was highest in Louisiana. In general, adults aged 25 to 44 years, 45 to 64 years, 18 to 24 years smoke at a comparable rate, but adults in the oldest age group tend to smoke at the lowest, about 15%. And we could all know that the young adults was the highest of the tobacco use in Louisiana. And in general, across all forms in the BRFF, tobacco use remains more prevalent among men than among women. Although the rate of smoking in Louisiana continue to decline, tobacco use remains higher than the national rates. So from the previous key findings, we could get a short conclusion. Is that from 2011 to 2018, tobacco use across the Louisiana was a downward trend and can be expected to continue to decline beyond 2018. And there are also significant difference in tobacco use in different parts of the country, with more tobacco use in the east. And the tobacco use in Louisiana is not high compared to other states. About the race group, Hispanic is the largest tobacco users, whereas American Indian and Alaska Native are the fewest tobacco users in Louisiana. And tobacco use remains more prevalent among male than female. Finally, adults in the oldest age group tend to smoke at the lowest, whereas young adults was the highest of the tobacco use. From this data, we could have an overall understanding of the tobacco use in Louisiana, and we could know how to do the counter marketing messengers for the tobacco use preservation. Okay, thank you. We should quit smoke. I think everyone should quit smoking to protect ourselves, to prevent unhealthy. Thank you.